This video supported in part by...
Playing VR, I tend to sweat. It gives me an edge. So King of Nerds happens to give me an edge too. Let King of Nerds give you the edge. Bye, King of Nerds.
Could this be it? Might we be currently witnessing the end of the drought for collectors of tabletop and handheld arcade machine toys? Well, I'm not certain, but there could be a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John, and I am a GenXGrownUp. Hey, thank you so much for the click. Do you remember back to like 2018, 2019? I could not keep up with all of the little tabletop and handheld arcade machines. You had Basic Fun putting stuff out, you had Super Impulse with their tiny and micro arcades, and then you had My Arcade putting out those micro players. And then, right around the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, things just kind of dried up. Like the last big release of those kind of $20 to $50 range gadgets was the release of My Arcade's Premium Edition line. You remember the Space Invaders and the Contra and that Street Fighter that came out? It looked like everything was looking up and we were gonna start getting arcade ROMs and cool units, and then nothing. Like the entire industry dried up like nobody has put out any new product in a long time. Well, that might be over now, or could just be a blip on the radar. Only time will tell. But here's what we know so far. My Arcade, who is known for putting out their line of the micro players, the nice clunky tabletop arcade machines, the likes of Pac-Man and Dig Dug and all those cool titles, has finally listed some new product on their website. Now, before you get too excited, it's nothing earth-shattering. There's not like a great new title we've all been dying to see. It's actually some repackaging of some existing titles, but it's the new packaging that makes me interested. Firstly, there's this new micro player, which is just a compilation of Data East hits, but it's the first standard micro player we've seen in a couple of years. Might that mean they're starting to roll out some new stuff, or does that just mean they're repackaging some old stuff with no intention of moving forward? That's something we're just gonna have to wait and see. What's more interesting to me, though, are the listings that have brand new form factors. Now, of course, we have all sorts of different models from different manufacturers that have prefixes that mean small. We have micro, and we have tiny, and we have mini, and we have all those different kinds of arcades. Well, now the new listings on the My Arcade website include nano and pico arcade machines. So just another way to say little. But what's interesting is these are smaller than the micro arcades they'd put out previously. In fact, they look to be somewhere between your Basic Fun arcade classics and the Super Impulse tiny arcades. The most interesting photo I saw was somebody taking one and stuffing it into a backpack, where you can see it's about the size of a large Rubik's Cube. The screen size on them range from 2 to 2.4 inches, which is fine for an arcade toy like this. Now, if there's anything disappointing about this announcement, it's the titles that are present on these nano and pico units. Nothing we haven't seen before. We have a baseball model that's very much like the Pocket Player that was put out by My Arcade. And then we have again the Data East compilation collection, which is just a repackaging of stuff we've already seen. Now, I normally find any release of a tabletop arcade machine toy interesting just because I loved them growing up as a Generation Xer, and I was disappointed to see them pretty much all dry up in the last couple of years. So what does this new announcement of upcoming releases mean for My Arcade? Well, we can't be certain yet. It might mean that that supply chain shortage that was causing everybody to stop production has loosened up a bit, and maybe My Arcade is testing the water to see if there is still an appetite for these. It's not quite an accurate test because what they're putting out is a new shape of existing product. What would be more interesting is if they kind of rolled out something brand new, an arcade title we never saw before. You know, give me a little Gauntlet or a little Clax or some arcade game that we've not seen before. Maybe they're holding that back to see how these are received. You can bet your bottom dollar that we at GenXGrownUp have already ordered several of these, and once they arrive at GXG HQ, we'll be putting them through their paces, giving them a full review for you, so we can find out together whether or not it's time to jump back in the pool and start collecting these little arcade machines. I'm withholding judgment for what I think this means for the small arcade toy collecting community. What do you think? Is this too little too late? Or is this just what the doctor ordered and it gets you back in the mood to start collecting again? Hey, until then, to tide you over, I invite you to check out either this video or any number of our My Arcade reviews of previous releases. Until then, I really hope you found something to enjoy in this quick video, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.